Yo, what's good, my peoples? It's your boy, Big Chris, aka the Compton Animator, and I'm here to bring you another WWE Money in the Bank review. So tonight I'm reviewing WWE Money in the Bank for June the 29th, 2014. Your Money in the Bank 2014. So, recording this a little late tonight. I had a headache earlier. Let it go away. But I hope all of y'all Sunday was pretty cool. Hope whatever you felt about the pay-per-view, you had at least have fun watching it. But let's go into the review. So tonight you start off Money in the Bank. You go to the kickoff show, and I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Josh Matthews was fired, or let go, however they want to say it, and you had Renee Young replacing him. Booker T, Christian is back on the pay per views, and Alex Riley. Booker T got a lot of just cheers when they cut the cameras on and they showed him. He just started doing this little thing where he put his hand out and he just his little King Booker thing, and that was pretty funny. But as far as the panel goes, I thought they were okay here. Renee did her job, and she's an okay replacement for Josh Matthews. Just a different voice in there. I don't like that her voice is a little bit high pitched at some points, but I think she's better than Josh Matthews as far as what her character is and just who she is as a person. So I like that. So the main thing of Money in the Bank was Daniel Bryan's return. They had him return on the show, and he basically said that he has no idea when he's going to be coming back. His healing hasn't been going too well, and that his arm hasn't caught a lot of back of the feeling, the strength that it once had. So he even may end up having to go and get surgery again. And to me, I was like, oh man. I don't know, man. I don't know. To me, especially when you go into this show, he is very much missed. He got a huge pop when he came out and people were just cheering the shit out of him. You could tell he was loving it, just loving the fact that he's back. But you can tell that he was very much missed from this show, and you just need his presence there again. And he's that guy that can do everything you need him to do, and he was just very much missed here. So he starts going in and he's having an interview with him and Michael Cole, and he's basically telling all that stuff about him. Michael Cole asks him how he's doing, and right in the middle of his promo, you get Bo Dallas, who comes out, and he starts saying how Daniel Bryan shouldn't believe, and he does this little corny ass thing where he says, what does he tell him? Something about I hope the title's being taken away. I know that's something in your neck. I forget what the line was, but I thought it was pretty funny, and the crowd got a good chuckle from it. So he goes in there and he tells Daniel Bryan he should leave. Daniel Bryan tells him, you know what, you're a boner. Crowd liked it, I guess, but it was very cheesy. Just a whole little cheesy segment to get Bo Dallas over. And I did like this, the way that they used him. You get Daniel Bryan who tell Bo Dallas that he should leave and tell him to go. So Bo Dallas leaves and Daniel Bryan starts doing a yes chance with everybody. The crowd liked it for what it was. It wasn't anything great. It was just, the thing with Bo Dallas. I wish that he would have got the crowd to chant Bo leave, Bo leave. That way, you can get Bo Dallas even more over. Just get him a chant for people to hate him more. I think that would be a great way to get him more over. But as far as this beginning segment and the kickoff show, I thought the kickoff show was okay. You didn't really have a match here, so I thought this was an okay replacement for it. Next, you get your first match was the Usos. They got not new ring attire, but some nice little ring attire. The silver going on here versus the Wyatt family. Now the Wyatt family had new music. You had the little kid singing "We Got the Whole World in His Hands," and then it leads into this kind of southern rock music, which I thought it was pretty good. I liked it better than the organ playing that they had last time. But I thought this, I liked it better, but I thought this did it justice as far as that goes. As far as their match goes, man, talk about a match to kick off your show. These guys came in and they did their damn thing. They made sure that they got all their specialties out. They made sure the match stayed quick pace and it kept going. And I thought that these guys did exactly what they needed to do to make this match very fun. Luke Harper going everywhere. Eric Rowan making sure he played the strongman in this match. And the Usos just dominating with the kicks, the punches, the flying off of the ropes and everything. And they really, really, to me, did a good job here. The match started getting a little down where you thought the Wyatts may end up winning. They had dived down onto the Usos, both of them. Luke Harper had died out to both Usos when he got both on my side, brought them back into the ring and hit what looked like a kind of like a cross slam where they put holding him up like he was on a cross and slammed him. Then they got towards where Luke Harper they kicked out and Luke Harper started hitting several more moves. So you got several parts where Eric Rowan started to climb onto the top rope and looked like he was going to jump off. The Usos ended up catching him and not catching him, but getting on the ropes, and they hit him with a double superplex off the ropes, which I really thought that was pretty good. They got the crowd to hype up very well, and it started hitting him with two Samoan splashes, which was another just sequence of good moves, showing that they had to pull out all the stops to take out the Wyatts, and I fucking love that. That's what you do when you want to keep a heel team strong as hell, and you show that. Baby faces have to bring out every single thing from their arsenal to take these guys out, and having them both do the superplex then do two Samoan splashes was the thing that I was like, okay, that's good. And I was accepting Usos winning here. I wanted the Wyatts to win, but the Usos winning looked really good, and it was a really good thing for them, and they cheered with the belts, and I thought this was a really good match to start off the show. Next, you get into the Divas match, which I like that they had this towards the beginning of the show because it gave them a little bit of time. But it was Naomi and had Cameron out there on her side and versus Paige. And as far as this match goes, I thought it was pretty chill. You had both girls who started the match off, and they were just tussling with each other, throwing each other around on the outside. They used the 10 count to their ability real good. I don't think the crowd was into this match too much. I know they wasn't into this match too much. They wasn't really getting too much hype, and that's basically because these girls don't really have a story to go with them. You got Layla and Summer Rae that got a story, but nobody's going to get into theirs because they don't care about that match. I think more people would care about this if they actually had a story or something going. I like that they're putting the whole thing with Cameron kind of being the twist and the breakup between herself and Naomi, and also putting more heat between her and Paige, but I don't think that they either started that early enough, nor did they start, giving any real screen time as far as on Raw and SmackDown to what these girls needed to do. I thought Naomi and Paige really did get into this ring, and they did a lot of good moves here, a lot of nice little submissions here, and Naomi, just her athleticism just really showed in this match. But Paige also came back and looked very dominant. You didn't have like previous times where one of the girls was just over dominating Paige. I thought that she came in, did submissions and stuff, did a few moves that made her look as dominant as well, and you came up to where Naomi was going in for that little DDT elbow drop that she does now, but Paige ends up reversing that into a implant. I think it's called an implant DDT, where she just drives their head like implant style into the mat, which I thought looked very nice, and she picked up the win from that. So another one where I thought Naomi may end up winning this, but they have to do something with Paige as far as story goes. We need to know who she is. I know a lot of people that don't know that she's a Brit. So, we need to know who she is. That means letting her cut promos against other people, letting her, just talk more, letting her get a story that's surrounded around her and not around her competition. She needs a story about her. So, yeah. I thought that was a pretty chill match. I kind of not sad, but kind of a little disappointed that they didn't, push a heel turn with Cameron at the end here and probably have her beat up either Paige or Naomi. But hopefully they do something on Raw to fully split these girls up. So next you get a promo from Dean Ambrose, and he was very good back here, and he just basically said that, he has two things that he wanted to do: capture the Money in the Bank and also beat the shit out of Seth Rollins with a ladder. So it was his two options. Do I smash Seth Rollins' face in, or do I get the case? And then at the end he goes, why not I do both? And basically his promo to set up for the match. I thought it was pretty chill here, and I liked what he did. So next you get a filler match where Sandow comes out dressed as Paul Revere, and he starts talking about the bullshit stuff about the Boston, and saying, that what he say that it really doesn't fucking matter, but he said something about Boston and how he wished they didn't say the British was here. So you get Adam Rose, who comes out, tells him stop being a lemon, be a rosebud, and he does it where he falls back into his crowd of people and then rise back up. Rose gets into the match. He does his little feminine moves where he slaps the dude on the ass, and he did this one where Naomi usually does it, where he pulls the guy into his ass and stuff like that. But it did look like they may ended up giving the win to Sandow because he started doing his moves. He did the elbow of disdain, and he was yelling to the crowd, "The elbow is coming, the elbow is coming." I thought that was pretty funny, and the crowd was actually getting into him when he started, going through his moves. He did his finisher, but it didn't fully go. Adam Rose kicked out of it, and then he came in, tried to do a moonsault. Adam Rose moved away and did his party foul finisher and picked up the win here. As far as the match goes, it was very, very mediocre. It felt like a SmackDown match, and it was nothing to it. So I think Damian Sandow can still get over with these weird gimmicks because the crowd is going to like him. A lot of people feel sorry for him, and they're just going to put that into liking him. So, it's just sad to see him in this state. Adam Rose, he's going nowhere. I used to be hyped for him, but they don't give him anything, no promo segments, which that's what he needs, less than matches. He needs to cut promos like he did on NXT, where he's either partying and have the parties go crazy and do something in the backstage with people, but this isn't really going to get him over. So next you get your Money in the Bank match. Bad News Barrett isn't going to be in this from that shoulder injury he got from Swagger. So you get guys, they all do promos before the match, and they were pretty chill. You basically had them say the same thing that, the video packages and stuff that you've seen say. So you get into the match. Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, Swagger, Rob Van Dam, and Kofi Kingston. And this match started off really good. Dean Ambrose just goes at Seth Rollins, and they just start fighting inside the and near the bell, and I thought that was pretty good just to see them two just bust out going at each other. Then you get Kofi Kingston, who starts getting in the ring and going at everybody. Swagger knocks over the ladder, and it makes while Kofi Kingston's at the top, Kofi Kingston kind of jumps off, not even really jump off the ladder. He falls with the ladder, lands on the top rope, and jumps off of that onto the other people, which I thought was a really good move from Kofi Kingston here. And then just everything was going really good. Rob Van Dam doing his thing, doing his roll up into Seth Rollins while Seth is on the ladder, which I thought was pretty chill. And just everybody coming in and doing exactly what they needed to do here. You had a lot of good spots. Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins going at it, and they did that through the whole match, which I thought was very good. You had Dean Ambrose do a superplex off the ladder, which looked very good and just painful. Dolph Ziggler popped through this match and did everything that he needed to do, and Swagger was pretty good as well. Just, coming off playing a strong man in this match, which he was really like the only guy with muscle and, the biggest guy in the match. So he did that pretty good. Kofi Kingston here, man. He was at a point in this match where he was going up and looked like he was actually going to, pull down the title. And I was like, oh shit, is they actually going to let Kofi do this? But you had one point where he goes up and Seth Rollins tries to go up with him. He throws Seth Rollins over his head and onto this ladder, which was probably the best spot of the match. It looked very good, and Seth Rollins took a crazy bump from that. Kofi Kingston looked like he was going to take a win, but Dolph Ziggler got up there and was going at it with him. And then you get Jack Swagger, who goes up there. Dean Ambrose catches him, takes him down with a tornado DDT, and then once that happens, Dean Ambrose actually looks like he get hurt from the move, and he goes into the back with the trainers to check on his arm. So after that, Dolph Ziggler goes nuts, does a really good job of just doing everything Ziggler needed to do to look like he was going to win, and I thought that was very good. I was really believing that Ziggler might pull this one out here, and just the way he plays it off, how much energy he puts into it, makes it look very good. And with Swagger trying to pull him down and Ziggler trying to reach himself and pull himself back up to get the title, just made it look even better. He even pulled off Swagger from doing the ankle lock on him. I mean, just was a very good spot where Ziggler just showed his dominance and his ability right here. And it ended very well with Seth Rollins after Ziggler goes and gets Swagger off of him. Seth Rollins comes in with a chair and just starts beating down on Ziggler, which, just another thing looked very well. You got the ghetto bird now. So Dean Ambrose comes back when Seth Rollins is trying to climb up again, and he just starts fucking him up with a chair as well. And that's where the match goes down. Dean Ambrose gets in with the chair, tries to go up for the the briefcase, and Kane's pyro hits. So this is basically playing up to the Authority, still into this match. Kane's pyro hits. Dean Ambrose gets shocked from it. Kane runs down, choke slams him off the ladder, then tombstones him. Allows Seth Rollins to get up, take the briefcase, and your new Mr. Money in the Bank is Seth Rollins. As far as this match goes, like I said, I thought it was a very good match, my match of the night, and they played up to this match very well with the promos and stuff. They did this match very well. I think that, for this match not having that much build up to it, I thought they did a nice job here as far as, just making sure that everything in this match was just non-stop, where, you thought guys were going to win, like Kofi Kingston. For a second it looked like he may win. He looked like he had enough time to pull down, the briefcase, which was very good. So, as far as the ending goes, yeah, it kind of sucks to see the Authority interfere and you get this, spot ending where somebody interferes, but I do think it helps out because it puts a lot more hate on the Seth Rollins and the Authority. It makes you mad that, he had to win that way. And, kind of shows the reason why Triple H let him, why Seth Rollins went to Triple H. He's going to have these problems on his own, but if you get with a guy who has all this control, then you get these type of things. And this is a really good lead up to what's going on with him and the Shield. So I thought, this was nicely done. And I even liked the whole interference thing. I thought it was fairly done nicely. So next you get Ryback, and they go against, I guess they're going to call them the Brotherhood. I don't know. I just want to keep calling them, but Stardust and Goldust. So you get Stardust, who's actually he plays this really weird where he starts jumping onto the barricade, and he stands on the barricade looking around at people and stuff. But as far as the match goes, you get Ryback, who comes out, not Ryback, Curtis Axel, who is kind of coming out in gear closer to Ryback's gear. It kind of looks like a little bit of lingerie to me for a minute, but they have a match. I thought the match was pretty okay. Ryback and Curtis Axel played, just strong man through the beginning of the match, beating up on Goldust. Cody Rhodes gets in for the hot tag and starts doing his thing. He changed up his moveset here and, does more of the taunting style of what Goldust does, but his is more, just exotic. Not exotic, but, just sporadic and like a monkey just going all around the ring and just doing crazy shit. Ryback tries to get him up for a I forget what the fucking move was called, but Shell Shock. That's what he's getting him up for the Shell Shock. Cody Rhodes gets out of it and tries to go for the pin. Curtis Axel comes in. They all try to get down on both guys and take Goldust out of the equation, but Cody Rhodes ends up getting right back into the what's this fucking move called? Whatever Cody Rhodes' move is called. I'm tripping right now. It's pretty late right now. So he gets him into his move, hits his finisher, and pick up the win. And after the match, you get Ryback, who tries to interfere, and they hit a finisher on him too. So it was an average match, not too much to it. Hopefully they just keep playing more up with Stardust and get him some promos in ring that'll help him get connected more to the crowd as the character if they're going to keep it going. So hopefully they can push something with this, and maybe this is the next tag team feud with these guys for the championships. I don't know. Next, you get Fandango, who's on screen, and he basically gets into the whole argument with both of the girls that he has a match with. It was a whatever segment. Basically, both of Summer Rae and Layla arguing with each other, and Fandango trying to look sexy in his ref attire and stuff, and playing he said the announcer asks, the commentator, or whatever you call it, backstage people, but they asked him about whether or not he likes being in this triangle of girls and shit, and he says, "I love triangles," in a sexy voice. I was like, this dude is wild, man. But yeah, it was a whatever segment. So next you get Lana, who comes out with Rusev. She sits on America like she always does, gives him the mic. He says he's gonna crush America and crush Big E. You get Big E, who comes out. He cuts an inbox promo this time, where he where he basically tells Rusev that America's not going to take what he does, and he does it in the whole preacher sound. So I thought that was pretty chill, and they get into their match. Now, this here I thought was a pretty good strongman match. Both of these guys, did a lot of things that they needed to do here, and they gave them a little bit more time. It played up to the fact that they did have a match before, because when Big E tries to go for the tackle through the ropes, you get Rusev, who actually blocks it with a knee, then gets back in and starts just going at Big E and fucking him up. And I really did like that here. You get Big E, who comes back and starts doing his moveset onto Rusev, and just doing a really nice, gets Rusev onto the outside and actually does the spear this time, but he actually kind of takes a bad bump here and he hits his head on the ground, and like the way it was looking, it looked like he crushed his head and his neck in, which looked fucking horrible. So towards the end of the match, they get back in the ring. Rusev actually hits Big E with a kick and then starts going crazy, gets Big E into the accolade. Big E almost gets out of it. He stands up on his knees, looks like he's going to get out. Rusev applies more pressure, gets him back down, and just goes nuts with this accolade, pulling Big E's spine all the way back, and just, it looked very good. Big E taps and just kept Rusev going. So just two competitive matches so far from Rusev, but I think that this really did help him as far as, pushing his character along and making him seem like somebody that's going to be a real contender down the line. And I thought this went very well. So I don't think they're going to keep going on with Big E and Rusev. I think this right here, 2 wins, is good enough for him, and hopefully they push him towards probably Cena at Battlegrounds. We don't know, but they may end up pushing him. I don't know where. You could push him to Roman Reigns or somebody, but it's got to be a character that can push the American thing with them, along with them. So next you get the Bella Twins, who are in the back talking to each other. Stephanie comes in and she basically tells Brie that she has to leave, and they show the whole thing with Vicky Guerrero getting thrown into the pudding, or whatever it was, pudding, and then it shows Stephanie getting thrown into the pudding basically. So you get Brie shows it to her on her cell phone, and it shows us on the screen, which I was like, okay, that's a little weird, guys. It's like Brie has, a connection to the monitors to show something that's on her cell phone. So that was a little weird. But Stephanie basically tells Nikki that Brie's not supposed to be here, and make the security guards come and make Brie go, and tells Nikki that Brie can't be here again. So it was an okay segment, just pushing more conflict between the Bellas and Stephanie McMahon. We may end up seeing a match with the Bellas and Stephanie, and probably at SummerSlam down the line. So next match you get Fandango, who comes out, Summer Rae comes out, and Layla comes out with this weird mask. I don't know what the fuck she was doing, but they have a match. Basically another filler match, and it's just filling up time between this and the main event. Crowd wasn't hot for this at all. They were hotter for the earlier Divas match, and it's kind of good to get 2 Divas matches on the show, but this one right here, man, it was very average. They played a lot up to the whole relationship angle between Fandango and Summer Rae and Layla and stuff. You had one point where Summer Rae is trying to tantalize Fandango. She gets Layla into the corner, starts rubbing on her leg and stuff, and then you get to where Layla's actually doing the same thing, where she gets Summer Rae into this submission and starts doing the same thing with Fandango. He's gyrating while he's looking at the submission is being done, so I thought that was pretty funny. But you get the end where Layla does her kick and gets Summer Rae down and pins her. Average, mediocre match, especially for the Divas. It really didn't do nothing for me. It kind of makes me wish that this was on TV. It didn't have a feel that it needed to be on the show. I would rather have them give more time to the one of the latter matches or another match instead of this being here. But I understood why it was here, so it was nothing really. Next, and they kissed each other. So next you go into the Money in the Bank title match, and this match started off with the guys coming down to the ring. First Stephanie and Triple H came down, and they sit at the near the commentary desk, but they wasn't on commentary. And you get the best interest to me was Bray Wyatt, as always. He, just the crowd was so over with the lights and stuff like that, so that was really good. But you get into the match. Bray Wyatt versus Sheamus versus Cesaro versus Alberto Del Rio versus Randy Orton and Kane. So the match starts off. just everybody going nuts and just doing all the things they needed to do here. It really wasn't too much of a crowd pop at the beginning, besides the Cena "We love Cena, Cena sucks" chants. But they really did get into that. Guys started to really go at it. Bray Wyatt and Roman Reigns had a big showdown with each other, and Roman Reigns ends up hitting Bray Wyatt with the Samoan drop, which looked very good. They also Kane gets into it, and the ladders get introduced, and Kane gets smashed between two ladders. It was one point where Randy Orton was on top of a ladder. He gets knocked off, then the ladder gets thrown onto him, and it cuts open his head, which looked very brutal. He was bleeding from it and shit, and they showed the replay of his head getting busted open, which looked very good as well. So you get all points in the match where just guys going crazy and they're trying to throw each other off ladders. You get one guy trying to climb up a ladder. They introduce two ladders, and they just getting, one tries to climb up, the other one gets thrown off. You get one point, right? I think it was either at this point where Bray Wyatt is just looking at these guys and just goes into his crab walk, which I was just like, get the fuck up the ladder, man. What the fuck are you doing? But it does play to his crazy gimmick that, he just is crazy out of this world type of dude. So it was pretty funny just to see him do that. But at another point where Sheamus and Cesaro was on top of the ladder, Bray Wyatt gets up and knocks down the ladder, and they're just hanging from the belts. And I thought this was very good. You see both of them just fighting each other in the air, and just just hitting each other and stuff like that. Sheamus the first one to come down, take a big spill onto the ground, then Cesaro falls, and then it just goes again where guys are just trying to get up the ladder and fighting each other. And I thought that was the very good spots. The crowd was still like half and half. Sheamus kind of gets him back into it with this tense hits of the Balrog, and I thought that started to work a little bit more. But what really got the crowd into it is when Cesaro connected the one ladder to another ladder like they had in the first Money in the Bank match. Then he starts climbing up the ladder with Sheamus, and you get Roman Reigns who tips the ladder, and it just stays like this where you get Sheamus on one side trying to get at the belt, and Cesaro's just hanging on, and they're just fighting each other like this and stuff. And I thought this was just very good. The crowd was totally into this, and this is a spot that I think I've never seen before. And these guys just high as hell in the air, just hanging off of these ladders, which I thought looked very good. You get Cena who gets back into the ring and sets the ladders back up. Then he tries to climb on it. Bray Wyatt actually gets Cena and tosses him on top of the ladder. Another really good spot right there. And the Fury from the Authority. Towards the end of the match, you get Cena and Roman Reigns who starts going at it with each other. They have a big showdown in the middle of the ring. The crowd is hyped for this, and they just start going at it with each other, start hitting each other and stuff. Roman Reigns actually spears Cena, which looked very good, and he was just going crazy after this, spearing people, doing his hits. Doing his, just his moveset where he runs around the ring and kick a guy, and he also did it to Bray Wyatt and some more people on the outside. He gets into it with Randy Orton towards the end of the match. Starts hitting Randy Orton, hitting himself into he hits Randy Orton into the ladder steps, and Randy Orton's hitting him into the ladder step, and they just start going at it. Roman Reigns actually gets down from there, and Randy Orton comes down with him and does the he throws Randy Orton down. Randy Orton gets him and does the backbreaker off the ladder into him. So I thought that was pretty good. You get Randy Orton starts climbing back up. Bray Wyatt takes him out. Then the Rio comes in, takes out Bray Wyatt with a really nice kick to the head, which I thought would looked really good. He tries to climb up the ladder. Sheamus takes him out. Then Sheamus gets taken out himself by Cesaro. Then Randy Orton takes out Cesaro when Cesaro's trying to climb up the ladder, where he just pulls Cesaro's leg and does the RKO out of nowhere, which looked very good. And then when Kane hops in the ring, he helps Randy Orton up the ladder and just brings him up, let him come up. But before he could, John Cena beats up Kane, takes Randy Orton, F5s him on, not F5s, but AAs him onto Kane. John Cena walks up the ladder, takes the belt, and he's your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, John Cena. As far as the match goes, I thought the match wasn't as good as the first ladder match, but halfway into the match, it got better, and I thought it ended very good. All the guys worked really well in this match, and I thought, especially for not for having, a gang of crazy, high flying guys like the first one had. I thought they did a damn good job of just, keeping the match up and keeping it good paced. So I thought that was very good. But Cena's finally won, man. After 12 years, he's finally champion for the 15th time. I don't know, man. I was upset when it happened, but I understand you don't have Daniel Bryan no more. You need the top guy, I guess. They could have used this to push another dude. They didn't. The Authority was pissed off about it. They played that up, but Cena still fucking wins. Cena still wins, and yeah, I'm gonna complain about it because I think that you could have done this and still kept Cena very strong, and you could have done basically this match that was spoiled. Oh, tripping. But basically done this match still without the titles. That's my main problem. This got spoiled that this poster came out for Cena versus Lesnar at SummerSlam. You could have still done this match. You could have done it without the titles, and it would have still been a big match. But another guy could have been put with the titles to have him be pushed further. Now, I don't know if they're just saying, oh, well, Daniel Bryan's going to be out for longer than we know, so put the title on Cena, didn't get this big match set up for SummerSlam, and we'll see where we go from there. But I don't know, man. It's just... hopefully this is what it's going to lead to when Lesnar picks up the titles, which is going to be even kind of a more shitty thing because he's not going to be able to be there. So, I don't know. But, yeah, as far as this show goes, like I said, it started off very good. I thought the Daniel Bryan kickoff show did a very nice job of not only giving us an update of what's happening with Daniel Bryan and giving us his feelings on what he feels about the titles being taken away from him, but also pushing in another guy like Bo Dallas and, letting him ride off of the Daniel Bryan heat. The first match with the tag team match I thought was very good and did a really good job of opening up the show. The Divas match was, it was good for a Divas match. It wasn't, the crowd wasn't into it. That's the only thing I think that was missing from it. Everything that the girls were doing in the ring was hot. They were doing exactly what they needed to do, but the crowd reaction wasn't there, so it kind of laid flat. And the first Money in the Bank match was really good. I thought that was the match of the night. The Rusev versus Big E match was another solid match on there. And the final match was very good, very solid, but it wasn't great, which goes to my rating. I give this show a B. I don't think that everything in there was great, but you had what you had, and it was what it was. So like I said, I told you what matches I like. The show gets a B. A lot of people are saying that, oh, Cena won, I'm not going to watch wrestling anymore. It's Cena winning. You still got a lot of guys I want to see wrestle, so, we're just going to have to wait a little bit longer. It doesn't really fuck up anything. It just Cena fucking winning again. So, it is what it is, guys. We still have NXT, which is a very good fucking show to me. So, hopefully within the next year or so, they can figure out something and figure out a way for the main event not just to be Cena, Orton, Kane, and whatever other guy that they want to put into that mix. But I don't know. Great the show would be. It was a pretty solid pay-per-view. It wasn't the best pay-per-view of the year, but also if Cena beats Lesnar at SummerSlam, that's when I would get mad. To tell anybody that's when you should get mad. If Cena beats Lesnar, then the whole Lesnar beating Undertaker thing is for nothing. That's when you should get mad. But for now, I say, it's just a win for Cena. So yeah, thank you for watching. Comment down below, like and subscribe. You can hit me up at my links down below. I'm also on Instagram at Compton_animator. I'm on Facebook at Christopher Wallace. Thank you for watching. Peace.